Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and joining me tonight, for this, I would say, painful post-game recap, the one and only Stephen Fox. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, like you said, it was painful. It was painful. Totally a winnable game for us, an important game for us. And hate to lose games from the foul line, folks.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, the foul line. There were a lot of things that cost us this game, but the foul line was definitely one of them. However, someone stepped in or stepped out, so you better say, and did not do their job and allowed this game to be decided by just shoving another player. I don't understand how. I mean, the whole point of your job as a ref is to look for plays like this, game deciding plays like that. It's a ball, it's up in the air. The offensive player shoves the defensive player. We're talking about RJ at the end of the game. Or D'Angelo Russell shoves him. No call, nothing whatsoever. They go to the line, hit their free throws, and the game's over. I, I am disgusted by that end result. It makes it seem like it doesn't why don't we just end games like 4 minutes earlier? Because what's the point of playing all the way to the end if the refs can just make a ridiculous non-call like that? And I posted the highlight. You guys, I was trying to get it up for the stream, but it's hard. We just decided to go live. My name is George. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit the thumbs ups and throw in your comments in the chat. Love to hear the chat. Decided to just go live tonight, to do a whole recorded thing. I mean, doing the recap last night hurt so much that I was like, you know what, I can't do it 2 nights in a row. I need to be able to be around my peeps, my fellow Knicks fans. Sup, hey, Jays Bears, thank you for joining us, brother. Thank you so much. I, when you have a team that battles back to try and make this game respectable and even take the lead, and the refs continually get in the way of that result, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was your feeling? Foxy, I'm gonna let you talk for a little while. I'm just gonna chill.
Yeah, I was psyched. I thought we had one of the best third quarters of the season tonight. It's kind of weird to think that RJ has been on the surge, has 13 turnovers in his last two games. It's
terrible.
It's terrible, but also I don't understand why.
7 tonight
and 6 last night.
Yeah.
So yesterday afternoon. So I don't understand why. And some of them, one of the like he literally passed it to Edwards at a key part of the game.
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude, protect the ball.
And George and I were talking off the air, but collectively, Knicks Nation, the Knicks fandom, I think everybody in unison said to themselves, "Oh no, Randall's going to line. Oh no, Randall's going to miss this." And we didn't want to be right, but we were. And you could see it in the guy's eyes before he even shot the shot. So, and he had a good game, 4 blocks, 21 points, 9
He got us back into this game.
He did. And
Randall
irks. I'm sorry, it irks me. Yeah, so he got us back into this game, and rather than just us saying, you know what, even if we lost in another way, I didn't want it to be that we lost because of missed foul shots. And folks, 72%, 24 for 33 after the yesterday was 11 for 21, 52. What the hell is going on here? I don't, we're not good enough to give away games. And these are the games that come back to haunt you.
You make a good point right there. We're not good enough to ... I don't think the players realize that. I think they think that, hey, hey, we're good enough. We can, we'll pull this game out. We can come out and get cooked on our own home court in the first quarter. We'll be fine. I can't stand that attitude.
Well, we saw it yesterday with Mitch after the game that in the post conference is a different player today. I've always been a player, I've always been a person, whether when I was playing sports or in business, losing hurts me. It bothers me. It cripples me because all I'm focused on is being a winner. So I go through my head and I can't sleep, but it always bothered me that people who lose and that they're, very, nonchalant about it. It's a different era, and I don't think I'll ever get used to it. It's just a big difference between my age category and the values I have. I've always said I don't mind if I lose. I gave it my all and somebody better. But if I beat myself, I couldn't sleep. And all of these errors, like I said,
me too.
Yeah.
If I beat myself at something, I cannot at all sleep. I'm like, sweating about it. I'm running it over in my head countless times, and all I can think about is that next opportunity to make it right.
Yep.
I don't feel like today's players have that, and maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong, but I don't get that sense that they feel that pain of a loss the way you should feel when you lose a game like this.
Hey, I grew up with players that if they said hello and shook hands, it was in the off season. You were the enemy during the season. If you fell down, I was not going to pick you up to help you off the ground. I was not going to hug you after the game. Especially if you're, I'm vying for stuff. It's a different league. It's a different age, and I don't, I feel for coaches. If the players don't feel the hurt for losing, that's really hard for a coach to motivate you.
Hey, just want to be clear though. Yes, Randall missed that key free throw, but at the 220 mark, RJ also missed.
He did
a key free throw. So
did.
We're not slamming Randall.
No, in fact, we're praising him that he had a great game, and it was like, damn, with everything that you gone through, just that foul shot could have maybe.
He could not hit a 3-pointer at all. He was only 6 of 15 from the field goal from the field. However, in that third and fourth quarter, he really stepped up. In fact, let's look at this was the second half. Look at Randall's second half: 4 of 10, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Unfortunately, one of those missed free throws was in like the key moment of the game. But 15 points. He was a plus 13 in that second half. And we were down 10 at the half. So, technically, he did his job.
He did do his job tonight, folks. It was Mitchell. I was hoping that he would have a better game tonight. He didn't.
Fouls, but ridiculous, stupid foul calls on him.
But also
mostly in the first half.
But also putting himself. You do certain things. You reach around. There's certain things you'll do, even if you're innocent. You're going to get the freaking call, and that Quickly was doing it the last few games. You put your hands. You put it yourself in certain positions. You're going to get a damn foul call. So that Taj, and they keep looking like, what the hell? And then they showed the replay. It's like, no, the ref was right, on this. That was driving me crazy. Alec Burks was invisible. He's played a couple bad games in a row. Shout out to Kemba, came in and lit it up, and also showed that even with the issues with his left knee and everything else, the times he's in there, he still has point guard skills.
Kemba though, his first half was pretty dismal. Only 2 points.
Yeah.
1 of 3. But he came on in that second half, and look what he gave. 5 of 10 in that second half. 4 of 7 from the 3-point line. Also, miss free throws.
Yeah. And that's not usually like him at all. That's not him. So,
yeah, but he finished. He was the high scorer in the second half, 17 points. Evan Fournier, fantastic game for Evan Fournier. I mean, he all around fantastic game. Let's look at his all around stats.
But he did miss some clutch shots down the stretch.
He did, but he gave us.
He had a phenomenal game. I have to give him points. Played very good on defense too.
Yeah, in his ability to hit those shots opened up some floor space for the other guys to do their thing.
Yep.
But oh man, that one step back three that he took, that was tremendous. That was tremendous.
For sure.
Emmanuel quickly did not have a good game. 9 minutes.
Yeah, they got the quick hook tonight. Yeah,
that's again disappointing. I mean, I don't know, Foxy. I mean, what did this game at all inform you a little more about the team and where it might be going? I know that's a loaded question.
No, it is, but I think what we touched on earlier, it's just again the reality of the talent level of this squad. That I was proud of them the way they came out in the third quarter, and but we still got outscored in that fourth quarter.
I'm gonna ask you a question though, right here. Do you think, like, when you look at this, is like almost a tale of two halves? This game
was
just to simplify it a little bit for us. Do you think the team that we saw in the second half is closer to the real Knicks, or is the team in the first half?
I think the team in the second half is closer,
which makes it even more frustrating in a way.
Which makes it even more frustrating that, but again, the team in the third quarter, because we only scored 19 points. Yeah, we only scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. So you come out, it was 61-51 at the half. We come out 40-25, outscore them in the third, and it's like, this is great, and we close it out, losing 26-19 in the fourth quarter, and people are like, well, D Rose is coming back. If we have to wait for a 33-year-old point guard to come back to bail us out of a game like this, come on, we're at home. There's still a 500 team, so this was a totally winnable game for us. And so I was hoping that the third quarter team was the team that we're really like. So I think that's what I'm hoping, that we can be tenacious and get us back in and play good basketball. But that fourth quarter, I don't understand in clutch time why we fall apart.
I think in a lot of ways, we kind of fall into like these bad habits, like, or like, oh, okay, well, the fourth quarter, we don't have a clear identity. Like, who's the guy who's supposed to get us those buckets?
That, and also just somebody who, the Patrick Beverley we saw. You need somebody who's ferocious, that gets everybody else on the team like, let's get this going, man. Let's win this. And it seems like there's not somebody that's like, in unity there's power. Come on, clapping their hands, and let's be dogs. This is our home. Let's take this. It didn't seem like there was that type of energy in crunch time when we needed it. It looked like they were scared almost. They were afraid to make a mistake. That's why the RJs and a couple of the things that happened down the stretch, you're like,
I have a question for you. For you, Foxy. Okay. Fourth quarter. We're not in this game. We're not in this game at all without Fournier.
No doubt.
So why aren't we running our offense through Fournier in the fourth quarter?
I'm with you all season long. It's been the thing. I call him the cooler.
10 of 17, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. Incredible step backs. I mean,
you would think that they'd be running curl after curl after curl for him, because he was in the groove, and he's a shooter. And also what we've been seeing, and we, George and I and a few others, like, this dude coming in this year, we're like, he shoots 55% from corner threes. So he's lighting up corner threes. So he's got that, that elite shooting. You're right, George.
When he's on, he's a bucket.
Yeah.
when he's off, like he was the night before, only 6 points, nothing. But tonight he shot us into this game, along with the rest of that unit. They definitely did an excellent job to get it, and they even had the lead. We had this lead. I think we had like a 5 or 6 point lead at one point.
The biggest lead tonight was 9 points by the Knicks.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, I know. So 12 was the largest by the Timberwolves, but it hurt. It hurt terribly because, like we said, this is our team. This is our passion. And we just want them to play. It's not the first week. We're halfway into the season, folks. We should be running on all cylinders, and to, lose it down. And like I said, to come out that strong, and we've had weak third quarters all season. So for us to come back, it's like good, especially after the spank, losing a game like yesterday, like good. So let's take that momentum from the third quarter, close these son of a bitches out, and show that this is our home court and that we're revving up, because we're going to have a brutal West Coast swing coming up.
Yeah. I just saw we play stupidly, and I threw this up. I didn't read the whole thing yet.
Hey, Stanley,
man, welcome. Hey,
how are you, buddy?
Take a break for a second.
Yep. Let's say hi to our family.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us here. Lex, all right, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. We surveyed 100 people. Sco, thank you, Sco. Stanley.
Yeah. We love you, man. We surveyed 100 people. We love you every week. Every pregame, we wait to hear from you about what the starting lineup are.
Our starting lineup.
Yeah, you're like a field producer for us. And the same thing with Sco. Sco always has wonderful stats that are really thought provoking. The same thing with Stanley, man.
Stanley, he's a great point right here. Russell suckers into side sweep fouls. First of all, the entire NBA is not calling that foul. Dumb fuck ref number 14, whoever you are.
Ed Malloy.
The
Or
NBA is not calling that anymore.
Howdy Doody for short.
Howdy Doody, you called it. What the hell? Drives me nuts. It drives me nuts when a team is battling back and playing excellent basketball to try to win this game at home. And also, that's the other thing. I thought the home team, got the 50-50 calls. I guess that's not part of, not at MSG.
Refs should never decide a game. It breaks your heart. It's not good for the sport.
Yes, but a non-call on a clear violation is still deciding it. I think they take that a little too far. Like, I'm not gonna blow the whistle because I'm gonna interfere with the game. So if a guy just fucking punches somebody, then it's okay. I mean, no, you call. If you see a foul, you call it. We're talking about those ticky-tack, like in the gray area 50-50 calls. Those are the ones you stay out of. But a clear shove of a guy who's clearly coming down with the ball, and he gets shoved and he lands on his back. Come on.
The game's changed. Thank God for Clyde, because he's always, the conscience. He must have said tonight, that was a foul. That was a travel that he got away with. That was a travel. So things that maybe you say, hey, they should have called out on McDaniel, or they don't call. And then on the others, you're like, Jesus, man, you're going to call that foul? So, wow. It's really, they're exhausting this team. I was hoping that they were going to be a lot more consistent, like I said, at the halfway point. And, Burks, he's a vet, so I wasn't expecting him to have 2 duds in a row, man.
Burks had a bad game. No points. 0 points. He had 6 last time.
Yep, exactly.
Which is unacceptable for a starting point guard in the NBA. And then tonight he has 0, which is unacceptable for a player who gets 17 minutes on the court.
Yeah.
He spent 17 minutes on an NBA court to not score a bucket.
And you know why? Because he's not a point guard. He's a small forward that Tibbs has playing point guard. And
he's a combo wing kind of small forward.
Yeah, but the elements of, and also how many bad passes today. Folks, it's driving me crazy. I'm stopping, rewinding, and I'm like, the pass should be here.
Halftime.
Yeah, no doubt. But the pass should be here. Passes are over here. They got to readjust themselves.
There was a pass to Grimes from Randall
Did you see that one like a bullet?
It like way out, and
he gives Grimes the dirty look, like, come
Grimes
on,
is like, and Grimes is like, wait, what? No,
what? Exactly.
If you had hit me here, that would be 3 points. Instead, he threw it almost out. In fact, he threw it away. It was a turnover.
I think it was the last game, or was it the Dallas game, where he threw a pass like that to Burks, and Burks was able to handle it. But he throws these passes sometimes that are just way too hot, that it's just looking for a turnover. That's just coming in way too hot, man. So that pass just drove me crazy. Ugh.
It's disheartening. It's disheartening, especially because the team battled so hard in that second half to take this game back, and they had it. They had it, but they could not close the game. And Kemba Walker did everything he possibly could to help this team win. Look at his stats in the second half. Look at that. 17 points, 5 of 10, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Again, also only hit 60% of his free throws. Barrett missed 1 of 2 free throws. Randall, he hit at least 7, but he missed a key free throw at the end there. 72.2% free throw shooting. That should be good enough to win you a game, but not when it's this tight.
Yeah, we shot 78% last year, and we're 14th in the league.
That's just the second half, though.
Fox. Exactly. So, we shot 72% for the game, 72.7 for the game.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy on the bench, or 2 guys on the bench sitting right now that can really help us with this exact type of game. Derrick Rose, because we were, yes, Kemba had a great second half, but the reason we were down by 10 is because we were rudderless. We didn't have a captain. But Cam Reddish is a nice piece to have on that bench to come in. I'm looking forward to that guy playing.
And what did JD say in pregame?
What?
That he was watching him shoot, and the guy did not miss a shot. It was like, wow, what a sharpshooter! This guy, literally in practice, he was not missing a shot from anywhere on the court. So that's music to our ears. And what we saw with Miles Bridges yesterday, we could have used a long, wing that's athletic with good hands, good feet, like you mentioned in the pregame, something. So we can't get him quick enough on this court. But also, we're going to have to figure out something, George, at the point guard position. If there's any semblance of us having hope for us to make the playoffs, we're going to have to do something to solidify that point guard position.
We have to.
Look,
Kemba ended up with a nice game, and I know it was his first game back in quite a while. But even still, the reason the problem is that we're in this situation to begin with. Like, we shouldn't be in this situation. We should have had a point guard from the beginning, a starting point guard who can play this game, who can deliver for us, and not, give us a few games here, a few games there, and then he's out for 5-6 games. And same with, look, and I'm a huge Derrick Rose guy, but we all knew at some point there was going to be a
33-year-old guy who had a lot of mileage that has had catastrophic leg injuries.
Yeah.
And the body's just wearing down. We love him, phenomenal player, legendary player. But come on, you can't fight Father Time. And what you said about Kemba, it's teasing our emotion that he'll come back, have a game like this, but you just know if Tibbs plays him, he's going to have another stint for that. The left knee can't hold up. It's like somebody gets a cortisone shot. It's a Band-Aid for a very short time, and then the reality comes back that I can't do this. I got to rest it.
Yeah, it makes me feel like that first quarter was him just being, concerned with, putting it out there. And then he's like,
yeah, and folks behind the scenes, for the few minutes Quick was in there, George and I are saying, but during the the telecast, like, how many times did this guy pick his freaking dribble up? My God, when is he? You're supposed, if you want to be a point guard, you're taking these reps, and you're supposed to be a student in the game. It's beyond, it's beyond how the hell you can do that. Yo,
good night, Geraldine.
Good night, Geraldine. You're awesome. We love you, man. So have a good night. Hopefully you'll think of something good, or have a nice little glass of Henny or something to get you to sleep.
I know, man. This is going to be a tough one. Tough one to be able to like.
But Geraldine's wonderful, and also just talking with her, she always leaves such wonderful comments. She's had issues too with Tibbs coaching this year, his rotations, the things that So I'm with you. So thanks again, Geraldine. See you soon, my friend.
Yeah. Interesting comment by Stanley. Stanley Mann. All we had to do was give Kemba the ball late in the game and run pick and rolls, says Wally Sherbiak. Yeah. So why didn't we do it? And he was cooking.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was no different than what you mentioned before. That if Fournier's in the zone, set up those screens and let him cook. Same thing like Stanley's saying. If Kemba was in the zone, and nobody was picking up those pick and rolls, right?
If I were the coach, tonight, and Fournier was doing what he was doing, he would have 40 points tonight.
Yeah, I'd be setting double screen. Yeah, I know.
Double screen, and then if anything else comes out of that, great. This is what I don't understand about Fibs. When something is actually working, why not just go and just get in there with the chisel and just mine it and just get everything out of that ore that you can?
Hey, I've said this, that I've seen this in a lot of sports. Some guys are really fantastic assistant coaches. He's a brilliant defensive coach, but not everybody is a great head coach. And like I said, people have heard me said Tibbs has a career 25-36 playoff record. He's 2-8 in his last 2 playoff series, and it's all attributed to not being a good making in-game adjustments. It's not his strength, nor is his strength, from the rumor mill I heard, that during games he doesn't listen to Johnny Bryant. He doesn't listen to his assistant coaches. He basically
I don't know about that.
I'm only telling you what I heard. That I've people that have been at the game and have great seats, and right behind that, and where they come up and he's basically like, get the hell out of me, I got this covered, and that so and I have to believe him because of the stuff I see and what all the fans see. It's like, yo, come on, and also, like we said, he's a cooler. There's all over the last couple of seasons, a guy's hot, and he didn't pass. What was it, RJ, a few games ago? He's hot, and they didn't pass him in the third quarter.
Yeah.
How the hell does that happen? Yeah, Lex.
I lost my patience with Thibs. Yeah.
Yeah. We said the same thing.
The only thing is the thing about the Thibs thing and the factor in he is not just coaching one game at a time. I'm not excusing tonight, what happened tonight. But sometimes we'll see the results of what he did tonight in a later game. And he never really goes back to connect the dots, but it's on us to make sure that we do that, because we've seen it before. And last year is a great example. He kept doing this. He was managing pretty much coaching pretty much the same way, frustrating us. And then things suddenly clicked, and we went on a crazy run. What did we win? 12 out of 13?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think 10 in a row?
9 in a row.
9 in a row. And then, yeah.
Yeah. And then even that LA game here in LA, even that was so close. We almost had that. So that's the only thing I can say. But however, game by game, it is incredibly frustrating to watch them. But still, the players themselves have to be held accountable.
Totally.
But you say that. I mean, I say that. And then I look at Mitch Robinson fouling out and Taj Gibson fouling out with ridiculous ticky-tack fouls. And meanwhile, the play that decides the game is Russell shoving RJ right in front of, what's his name? Number 14?
Ed Malloy.
Right in front of him. Shoves him. No call.
Craziness.
Like, hey,
I know.
Like, that's cool.
Frustrates the hell out of you. Like, come on, man.
That's cool.
We're overdue for a couple of calls our way.
I'm sorry. The game is on the line.
Yeah, I know.
Man, not a big deal. Just shove them. Just shove this guy. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and also just, from a Lux perspective, RJ makes that play, and it's like the ball had to go to, why couldn't the ball go to the Nick for a change or something like that?
Well, it couldn't because he got shoved out of the way. He was reaching. It's because this is.
I'm saying the ricochet off RJ's hands. Like, come on, from a Lux standpoint.
But when you watch that play, if RJ had been shoving Russell, RJ would have a clean play at the ball.
Yeah, but like you said, from a detective standpoint, from a momentum, he had to be fouled for the reaction of his body and everything.
Yeah,
he couldn't go in that direction without having somebody put that kinetic energy toward him.
Right, exactly. Why would a player trying to make a play, fighting for the ball, end up flat on his back if it wasn't a foul?
Yeah, and he's not a flopper.
How about you call it? You like blow a whistle. And you're like, hey, I want to go review this.
Yep.
Yourself. To try to get it right yourself as a ref.
And it's crunch time. You don't want a game to be, yeah, exactly. You want the right call, not it's lunacy, man. And I said to George, folks, it's like, are we going to come to a point in the future that, artificial intelligence will be calling instead of these refs where you're having inconsistent from game in and across all sports? This past weekend in football, there was some really bad reffing also, that it's coming to a point like, the same thing in baseball where, man, why is this ref strike zone different than that one? Let's start using technology. If we can't get the human factor right, we shouldn't have, and as fans, we shouldn't have games and our passion impacted by these type of calls. It rips our hearts out.
Yeah. And we live in the era of HD, and you have cameras everywhere. There's probably 20 cameras covering the game. So
my old company,
we see everything that's happening. So you can't hide the mistake of a ref or an umpire. But even in the majority of the major sports, baseball, football, and basketball, historically, the NBA refs have been the best. I don't think we can say that anymore.
But you know why? Because we were lucky to have for a long time veteran refs who were there for a long time. Those old refs are gone. And this is a whole new, so they don't have the experience. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's like you said, the quality, and it's the same thing of baseball, whatever. Just be consistent in your call. So if you're calling a high strike zone, just be consistent with that. But nothing upsets players and coaches and fans more than inconsistent stuff.
The game before was a great example of that. The calls they weren't the same calls going both ways.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, nah, this is a problem. And like we said, we're not elite enough of a team to be able to overcome this shit.
No, we're not at all. No. And here's the thing. With all that being said, look, Randall, 21 points. He was a +9, which is nice. However, 6 of 15 he shot. Missed all 4 of his 3-pointers. He did have 9 rebounds, 9 assists. It's a nice game. It's a nice game, but not enough to win you the game.
Yeah. But it also he had 7 last night, 4 tonight. That he fluctuates from game to game. His shot selection.
He had 4 blocks tonight.
He did have 4, and you know what? And one of them he was very, very lucky because he was very lackadaisical, and the ball got stolen, and he came back to block that guy on the fast break that he caused by his turnover. So otherwise, I was going to say if that guy is scored on that, I would. If I was a coach, I would have said you're out. But also was sad at the end of the game. Taj fouls out. Mitch fouls out. The fans, in Madison Square Garden tonight. I don't know if I had the actual attendance, but everyone's screaming for Obi, and they have the camera shot on Obi, and he's sitting next to Burks, and who gets the call? Burks to go in, and not Obi, and you could just see it on his face, like he smiled, like, yeah, I wasn't expecting it with this coach, man. This coach won't give me a damn chance for anything.
And I will say, I think that was a mistake.
But of course, look at the game. He's not having a game. One thing is, if he's in the zone, he hasn't had a game the day before. He doesn't have the game tonight. And what do you go with? And did you see how far off that last shot was tonight? That could have
they could have put us ahead
and won it for us.
Yeah.
He just wasn't there. So, oh man. I know, man.
This game sucked. This result.
And you have a guy, Jalen Noel, that from the G League, and it's like those are 14 points that killed us, folks. One thing is Anthony and Edwards, or all these unknown players this year that have laid a smackdown on us. Just game after game, unknowns that you're like, you take away, if that unknown played like an unknown, we could have won the game.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at this right now. Right here, Craig Mack posted this. IQ superpower is his shooting, but he's not hitting right now. True. Look at the free throws. They went to the line 38 times, hit 29, 27.3%. We went 33 times, hit 24. Those 5 points are the big difference. I mean, if we'd hit like three of those 5, we'd win this game. I mean, our free throw. So we're not executing even the most basic aspects of this game right now. We're not finding the guy who's hot and creating opportunities and looks for him. Fournier tonight, for example. When we're getting to the free throw line, we're not focused and hitting our free throw shots, especially when the game is on the line. First of all, a missed free throw in the first quarter is the same as a missed free throw in the fourth quarter. It is, technically. But when it's the fourth quarter, that's where your focus should be even more refined, more intense.
Yeah, because in the first quarter, you got 3 other quarters to fix it. Yeah. The fourth quarter, it's over, man.
In terms of being a human being and understanding the aspect of the life of a game, yes, you don't feel like they're as important, but they technically are. A point in the first quarter counts the same as it does in the fourth quarter. But your focus in the fourth quarter, because you've battled whatever the results have happened up to that moment of the game, of all culminated to that moment when you're standing at the line and you're able to tie the game or put your team ahead, and it's a free throw.
Yeah, but
I'm annoyed. I hit 90% of my free throws.
But because you practice your ass off, like,
yes.
But just when it becomes muscle memory.
Yes, I practiced it. I'm like, I'm going to practice. I'm going to shoot. When I get a free throw, I'm going to hit my free throws.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Oh, that's not so little. I'm a 6-footer, but
I mean, I'm not, basketball wise, I'm little.
Yeah.
I'm tiny. So, but yeah, it's like they're free points. Yes, as Craig Mack says.
Yeah.
This game, this is the kind of game I have a feeling that the front office is watching this game very closely. And they're thinking about whatever plans they had kind of hanging out there, they might activate them right now.
Hey, they're gonna, that point guard is just jumping out. People like, I don't know about Jalen Brown.
Look at this. This is perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect
Thank you,
timing.
Keith.
Perfect timing. So we were just saying, yes, although I'm speaking out of frustration, at what point does this front office say we have to make a move before the season is lost?
That's poetry, Keith.
I think these last 2 games were it, Keith. If they weren't, we the fans have a problem with the front office.
And especially we're going against elite teams coming up.
Yes.
These are the games we should be winning. So if we don't make the move now, we're gonna get our butt kicked badly.
Yeah. We're getting spammed a little here. Oh, thank you, Lex.
Thanks, Lex.
I appreciate that. Because on StreamYard, I don't see the deleting, but then I looked over here and I saw it. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to my friend Quiet Money, one of the great guys.
Hey, Quiet Money. Hey, welcome, brother.
Hope all is well with you and your family, man.
Welcome, man. Hey, if you guys have any questions or whatever for us, just drop them in the chat there. We'll get to them. It'd be awesome. I mean, we just decided to go live because I feel like this game. I feel like this game has a lot more importance than we realize as a fan base, because there's so many games, throughout a whole season, but the 45th game tonight, the second game of a back-to-back after losing that game last night
to an Eastern Conference team.
Yeah. Where we were really never really in that game. At least tonight, we battled back, and got back in this game. And in a lot of ways, they're similar type of teams. They have young, dynamic, athletic players, guards. I mean, actually, in some ways, I think Minnesota is actually even more talented in some ways with Cat. I mean, he's
in some ways, in every way.
I know, but last night they didn't play that way in the past tonight. I mean, Charlotte played fantastic the night before.
And what we talked about in the pregame, folks,
and they didn't even have LaMelo.
They didn't have LaMelo, but they also had these guys, whether you like Bouknight or not. It was still that they had Bouknight, Kai Jones, JT Thor, all of these guys that in the next few years are going to mature. Yeah, so they beat our butt while they have these elite, doesn't mean they're going to be anything, but they have elite athletic specimens on that bench for them to develop over the next few years. Yeah. And we're like looking out at us and we're like, wow. So you look at them, you look at Orlando, and you're like, God, look at Orlando's record. And you're just saying, the right coaching in the next couple of years with the guys they have on that team and probably another draft choice this year, they could be a scary team.
They could. Look at us, man. We had 13 turnovers in that first half.
Yeah.
And only 5 in the rest. And those 5, they did not come. There were no turnovers between the 3-minute remaining in the second quarter all the way up to the 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. There were 0 turnovers, and that's when we came storming back into this game. So those 5 additional turnovers were all caused either probably in that fourth quarter. So let's look at Keith's super chat, which we appreciate greatly. So he's basically wondering, what are the moves going to be? What do you think might be the actual response by Leon in the front office to what's currently happening with the Knicks in terms of trades?
I think the only trade, because, like we've said, we'd love a stretch more than anything, folks, Jalen Brunson. I think it's just coming to the thing that we're in dire need of a point guard to put our players in their spot, their favorite spots on the floor where they can eat, rather than right now, either they have to make their own shots or, like George was saying, we're not running sets right. IQ, like we said, how many times did he pick up his dribble tonight? It's like, we were just watching tape of Rokas and like saying, look at that. This kid did not pick up his dribble once. He kept the play going. And Yeah. So if I think that, if the front office takes a step back and their brain trust says, what player, what can we do that can make the biggest difference? It's at the point guard position, and it's not getting a De'Aaron Fox. That would, I think, would create chaos. You want to bring in somebody that can very quickly come in. He's from a basketball family. He's a professional. The family knows Tibbs, that he would study that playbook, work with the guys, and in a very short time be running this offense the way that we need somebody to run it. A professional point guard.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Here's a trade proposal from Daily Knicks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks get Jalen Brunson and Mike Muscala.
Okay.
Mavericks get Kemba Walker and Mitch Robinson. It's a 3-way trade. OKC, they get Maxi Kleber. Well, a Charlotte 2022 second round pick, and the Knicks 2026 second round pick.
I wouldn't do it. I just don't think that depletes the 5 position. We don't have a Noel, so we can't go this season with a Sims or a Taj, folks. So I think we can maybe get a different type of trade, but we can't. Mitch is the only thing we got at the 5. That's the reality of it. What do you think?
If it's true, if Nerlens was playing and available,
it'd be a different thing. We'd have an insurance policy. Story. We don't have.
If we were to do this, we'd have to just decide that Sims is somebody that we can actually incorporate into the rotation, legitimately.
Yeah.
It's true. This particular proposal does hurt us. All right. So what's another proposal that we could get, Jalen? The thing is, I understand why they did this, because Dallas has been salivating for Mitch for a while.
I know that, but I think they have Moses Brown, don't they? Let me look up.
Yeah.
So I take a Moses.
They're still salivating over Mitch.
No doubt, but they have Moses Brown. I was right. At least get some type of rim protector. Somebody. Muscala is a stretch 5 threat. He can shoot, but there's just no defense. And this is a defensive anchor coach. You have to have something there, and Sims is a project. He has athleticism and stuff, but hopefully the basketball IQ from the 5 position will sink in from his development over the next couple of years. But so there, but the whole thing is, because of KP's contract, because of Luka's contract, they have bird rights, but because of that, they can only offer him $13.9 million a year. Jalen Brunson, that's the highest they could offer him.
Yeah, they're going to lose him.
So that's why I'm saying that some people, it may not be the most expensive thing, is us saying we may have to pay him in the range of $20 million a year, and people are like, that's way too much for Jalen Brunson. Folks, look around point guards in this league. If a guy could run the set, $20 million is not as expensive as you think it is for a guy that puts everybody in their spot on offense.
Yeah. Yeah. Look,
and that has and also low turnovers.
Yep. Absolutely. And Keith and I talked about this in the previous, like the one where you were on your date night.
Saturday nights are date night in the Foxy house.
Yeah. So Foxy was on his date night, which is totally allowable.
Just don't tell my wife.
Yeah. Oh.
But boom.
in that stream, we were very clear where, like, now it's become the way the NBA is structured, and because of the way the rules have been altered, similar to football. Now, a quarterback has become your most important. They always were, but like, you cannot win in the NFL without an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
And the NBA is almost like that. However, you can win with an effective point guard. You know, it doesn't have to be elite. Elite puts you in that, you know, I mean, look at the Final Four of last season. Who are the Final Four teams? Atlanta. Atlanta. Oh no, the Final Four NBA. Yeah, well, that would be that too. But the Final Four NBA. Atlanta Bucks. Drew and Trey. I mean, they're elite point guards. Yeah. On the other side,
CP.
And then what was the last one?
It was the Lakers, wasn't it?
CP, Phoenix. Who the Phoenix play? I forgot now.
They didn't beat the Lakers, or
no? Phoenix played. It was the
them.
Shit, I'm blanking on it.
Yeah. Too many spiked iced teas tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm drunk.
I'm feeling good. So if I say anything crazy,
but either way, the point is that you need an elite point guard to get that far. Now you can have a solid point guard to get you deep into the playoffs. We don't even have that. I mean, Kemba just came back his first game and he gave us one half of a decent game. Yeah. I mean, excellent. He gave us an excellent half.
And folks, like you've heard me say, I think RJ is going to finish out the season strong. I think he's going to have a fine career, but he has a 1 and change to 1, so almost a 1-to-1 ratio of assists to turnovers, and you can't be the primary facilitator on a team with that career ratio. You got look at guys like D Rose is 3.5 to 1. You know, so that's why Jalen Brunson is attractive. You need somebody that is low, you know, like you said, doesn't have to be elite, but doesn't beat you with stupid plays.
Yeah.
You know,
hey Foxy, I need to, I'll be right back. I'm going to leave you alone. Can you shout
hey, you got to make me, you got to,
everything.
You got to make me
you go solo? I'm going to make you.
Yeah, I can, but you got to make me, you got to make me, a mod, because
right, say something in the chat and then I'll make you a mod.
Okay. All right. Hello. Because we got troll again.
Yeah, I think
Lovelace XYZ.
Love face. Why are you hitting us up?
I don't know, man.
You know, we're suffering Knicks fans.
Yo, Quiet Money needs a wrench. He wants to be part of the wrench mob, so you got to hook my brother up.
All right, I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, so Quiet, my brother. You said, I fear that the Knicks are overplaying their hand, trying to make RJ into a number 1 or 2 option, with his ceiling is no more than a 3rd or 4th option. Maybe a 2nd, but I agree with you. Unless he fixes his handles, I don't ever see him being a 1. He's still a young pup, 22. And what he's accomplished on the court is very, very impressive. It's very difficult at any age, but at his age, you know, accomplish 16 to 18 points a game, 5 to 7 rebounds a game. I wish he had more assists, only in like the 2 to 3 range, but it's impressive. But his handles are stopping him from ever being a number 1. I don't think anybody in the Knicks Nation, if you said to them, "Hey, you got 4 seconds left in the game," forget about that heave that went in the other day. That don't count. You know, I'm glad it went in. We are all glad it went in, but that wasn't taking somebody ISO 1-on-1 and beating him. And RJ just doesn't have that in his repertoire at the moment with the game on the line. So I'm with you, man. So Hartheimer, Hopo as well. I think Simon is a good point guard for the Knicks, because they will have cameras and RJ and Julius to score, and Simons don't need to score. I'm not, you're going to need to score in the playoffs, and if you don't take a shot in the in the 4th quarter, or you're afraid you're going to get fouled, like all of us were afraid Randall was going to get fouled, and what happened tonight. So I don't know about that. And also, again, I got to thank the SV Nation. I looked at Ben Simmons and I was mesmerized by his perennial, every year, being almost a defensive player of the year, besides being all NBA on defense. But if you can't handle Philadelphia, there's just no way you're going to handle New York City. So, you know, I'm not a Ben Simmons fan for him to come here. I think that mental health is a very serious issue. It's nothing to laugh at, and I think he has some issues he has to take care of. And also, he's had back issues, foot issues, knee issues that I would definitely take a pass on him. Yo, Cully's in the house. Cully, my friend. I hope all is well with you and your family. So who's to blame tonight, fellas? I don't know. RJ with 13 turnovers in the last 2 games is an easy person to pick on, Cully. I don't know where the hell those turnovers came from, man. Quiet money. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but I'm also worried about the money involved with sports betting being legal in New York. I don't like betting. I don't believe in gambling. I think it absolutely ruins the sport. So any sport. And you know what? It always was crazy to me that states wouldn't legalize weed, but they'd legalize gambling. And I'd always say to my wife, there's more people whose lives were ruined from gambling. I don't know anybody's life is ruined other than them smiling too much from weed. So,
I came back at the right time.
Yeah, and I'm such an innocent person in so many ways. I was hanging out one time. My wife and I were hanging out with some friends, and some other friends came over, and they were talking. There was a lot of people there, and somebody was saying, they lost the other night, and I went, they lost, and I went, I'm sorry, I just heard you that they didn't lose, and they went, no, they lost by the point spread, and I've never looked at the game, any sport that way before.
I don't bet on the games yet.
Yeah.
I may change that.
Yeah, the stock market is all I gamble in.
Yeah, I may change that. The problem is that I can't, I get to when it's my team, I'm too emotional. I don't make the right bets and stuff. But when it comes to like Super Bowl, I have guessed the Super Bowl winner for like the past 20 years. It's when I'm not emotionally involved, I'm awesome at prognosticating a winner. When I'm emotionally involved, it's a different story. But I am. I used to play poker a lot. I was a semi-pro, and that's where I learned how to be a little more disciplined when it comes to gambling. But poker's not really gambling.
It is in my neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like 60%, 65% skill, 35% variance. But that's almost
and 100% memory.
Yeah, a lot of it is memory.
All right, this is the only cards that are left.
Yeah, pretty much. Knicks 100 AGM. He put this in the chat. RJ has to shoot over 84% from free throw line for his style of play. Depends on it. I agree that he has to up his efficiency, whatever the number is.
70, I believe.
His current number.
Yeah.
But he's saying
exactly that for him.
Yeah. I think he got into the high 90s, 80%, maybe 84 is the right number. Yeah, he needs to be up there, and he should be. He's
a 20-point scorer if he just hits a couple of freaking foul shots and finishes one extra shot in the paint.
Tonight would have been that night.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed by this game.
Hey, D-Nice said, weed affects everyone differently, can improve and ruin someone's. D-Nice, I agree with you. Anything in excess is no good. Moderation is where it's at. So I totally agree. Be civilized, our friend. Hope all is well with you and the family.
Salute to you, brother.
Yeah, D-Nice is happening.
Jalapeno, quiet money. Be civilized. I love that.
So D-Nice, the issue is that we necessarily don't want any betting sponsors, but we don't mind any weed sponsors.
I may take a betting sponsor.
I'm only goofing.
I turned one down. I had this one company who wanted to sponsor us, and I was like, nah. I don't know. For me, pausing in the middle of whatever I'm doing to be like, I want you to do that. It just. I mean, maybe I'll work up to that, but right now.
But you know what? I love my friends so much. I'd feel like shit if I said to him, "Hey, take this team or take this player with this bet," and on the air, and then all of a sudden, like, "Hey, man, I lost that money." I'd feel terrible.
Well, I will say this: when I have a sure thing for you guys, I will say it. I won't tell you to put money on it, but I will say it. When I have a sure thing, I'll be like, okay, hey, this is a sure thing. Nothing's a sure thing, but you know what I mean? Like if I think but I won't say it unless I really believe it. And I might have some for this weekend's NFL playoff games.
Wow.
Yeah. I might have a big upset. A big upset for this weekend series of games. But I'll share it with you guys. Maybe I'll do a separate video that's not like a Knicks themed video, and we'll talk about it because it could be fun. Oh man,
the only sure thing I know is index funds.
Oh yeah, those are. Hey, I used to work for a company called the Capital Group.
Sure.
Which they have the American funds, which are huge. They have one mutual fund that if they have like the most profitable mutual fund in the history, apparently. Like if someone had put in, I think they said $10,000. Now, of course, it's a lot of money back in I think it was 33. Not sure, but it was way back then. And it's never touched it. It would be worth over $140 million today.
Hey, John Bogle is a gentleman that started a company called Vanguard.
Yeah, and they're the same. They're like the competitors.
He's the father of index funds, and he wrote a book, The Little Red Book of Investing, and it changed my life. And basically, the concept, folks, is that you're not buying one stock; you're buying this. From a diversification standpoint, you're basically buying almost every stock. In sometimes it depends on one will be just S&P. Sometimes it'll be small mid caps, but it never the bottom line is you leave it there and you forget about it, and you'll never lose money.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a great strategy. All right, I have a question for you, Foxy.
Okay.
And for the chat. Who is, if we could only add one player before the trade deadline, who could not only catapult us back into the playoff picture, but also be a piece ongoing for seasons to come? And there may not be a player out there. You may not feel like there is one, or that it has to be someone that we could actually get. You can't just say, the Devin Booker. You can't just say him. It has to be someone who we could actually possibly acquire. Who are you thinking? Unless maybe there isn't anybody, because I'm not sure there is.
I was going to say, because it's also complex, because if
we're getting great responses here in the chat.
Ben Simmons, SGA,
Murray, Devontae, but DeJounte, he's not available as far as I've heard.
That's what I heard. That's why I said it's complex, and if he is,
it has to be
you wouldn't have the team
that's available. Yeah. Someone that we can pry loose. Jalen Brunson. You guys really let's talk about Pal. Oh, this is my guy Rick Pennington. Palace Shenanigans. Jalen Brunson. Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into Jalen. What do you got? What do you really think about him?
I love his pedigree. I'm very into pedigree when I do analysis, and I love guys who are villain over tough. His father, Rick Brunson. Like I said, when you grow up in the business, you're not looking at it the same way as other kids. Mm-hmm. He realizes that you have to be a professional. You have to work hard at it. You have to study. You have to film. You have to work out, 52 weeks a year. He has a different approach. So he has excellent pedigree. You see him on the court. He's gotten better. He's had a fantastic year so far this year. When Luka went out and others, his low turnover ratio, his outstanding. I call Brunson Deuce McBride, but with great handles and higher basketball IQ. And again, I'm nothing against Deuce, but he played off ball at West Virginia so much that you're asking a guy to come into the NBA to try to learn a graduate level of point guard. So he's doing rudimentary things right now, but he doesn't see the floor only because he never played it. I'm not saying he can't, but Jalen, even though he's 25 and Deuce is young, I wish we could get Rokas early because he sees the floor and he's been playing some serious, he has beautiful size and everything. And forget about some of the areas of concern on offense and getting guys into their set and driving and kicking out and breaking down zones. I think, next year can't come soon enough for me to see Rokas. I think he's going to really help our team. But, and that'd be cheap. We don't have to make that, do something. But Deuce is not there's a reason Deuce was picked 36. And speed, handles, you can't get the separation and just can't run. He's not a point guard at this point in time. It's the same thing with IQ.
He's still pretty young, though. Deuce.
He is, but you know how brutal. Hey, if he had something, you don't think Tibbs and others would be playing him? It's the first card saying in practice he's not showing Tibbs, even with all his defensive acumen, that he can't run a team yet. And if you see him,
he suffers from short legs.
He does. He has a weird. He has a weird running gate. His stride is weird.
Get that lift.
Yeah, because one of the things I said he should go to a track coat.
He can dunk
he dunks it because he has a 6'9".
Explosive. It's not.
Yeah, he doesn't have burst, and that was one of the issues.
I think he would be an excellent bench guard. Or when
absolutely,
you need that that nice point of attack defender, and situationally, that's the one thing that bothers me about the modern NBA. We're so set in ways. Like we have like a set starting five, and it's like that same unit every single time, irregardless of what the other team is putting out there. When are we going to finally move into that era where we're like, hey, you know what? We're playing Trey tonight. Deuce should start. Oh, we're playing Luka tonight. You know what? RJ is the point guard tonight, and he just suffocates Luka all night long. Why can't we play like that? Why do we have to be the same cookie cutter, same exact five every night? Drives me nuts.
I know. But at this point in time, getting back to whether Obi or IQ, I think that IQ because of Grimes. IQ I would use as a trade piece if I can get Brunson for IQ and a couple of second round.
Foxy, that's big. You're dangling IQ out there?
Well, because I think Grimes can play better D. Grimes is a better 3-point shooter. And if we get Brunson, I don't need IQ trying to be a point guard anymore. So we leave Grimes as a shooting guard. So I would absolutely, and also now with Cam, I think people don't realize Cam is literally both height and wingspan a fraction off from Obi's size, folks. So he has better handles, better shooter, better lateral quickness on defense. So it's not beyond the realm also to say Obi to Dallas with a couple of second round picks, because again, they don't have leverage. They don't have the money. So he can walk at the end of the year with them not getting anything for him. So they're under duress too, saying, hey, we'd like to make the playoffs, but we can't afford him. He's going to walk. We're going to lose him. So let's at least get something for the future. So if we can give him Obi and a couple of things and then have Cam slide in to a 4 role, or pick up somebody, it's a shame that the guy Solomon Hill tore his hammy, because he has like a Charles Oak. We don't have an enforcer on this team, a tough guy. And Solomon Hill's a tough guy.
We don't.
So, and he's very well liked in a locker room and stuff like that. So yeah, so I would definitely dangle Obi only from a redundancy standpoint. I think Grimes is a better defensive.
I mean, I'm gonna
Yeah.
look. I'm gonna say this about Obi. I think whoever gets Obi, they're gonna be happy. Obi's better days are ahead of him.
I know, but from a basketball analysis standpoint, he's 24 years old. So you're worrying as an analyst, saying how close is he to his ceiling?
I don't think he's anywhere near his ceiling.
I know that, but not a lot of guys.
We get to watch him every day, so we know that he's not anywhere near his ceiling.
But we also know that he's not. He can't shoot mid range and 3-pointers at this point in time, and it drives you crazy because you're looking at the mechanics and you're like, doesn't have bad shooting mechanics. I don't know why it doesn't go in, but it's not going in. And again, because the truth is, one of the biggest things that bothers me is people like I see Amari Stoudemire. Do you know how much bigger physically Amari Stoudemire is than Obi? Yeah, they may look the same stature-wise, or the way
2 inches,
but
if not 3 inches taller. Yeah,
but width-wise, girth-wise, he's not.
they're talking about like his style, his ability to
exactly, but
float at the hoop.
But he's a tweener, Obi. That's why he's disposable. My thing, he can't post up a 4. He can't shoot. He can't shoot well enough to be a stretch 4, and he's not quick enough to cover a 3.
I don't. Okay. But I wonder, yes. Well, certain threes for sure. He cannot. Certain threes he cannot. But he can use his length to bother some other threes that aren't as explosive. But all that being said, do you think that it's possible? And the way I'm phrasing it is because I feel it. I feel like Thibs has not done a great job at fully exploiting what Obi actually does give you.
He's destroying him. You don't put a kid for 44 minutes filling in for Randall while he's out on COVID, and then 9 minutes the very next night, and then 9 minutes the game. You're messing with his head. You saw him on the sidelines tonight. The fans and everyone saying, hey, we just lost our 2 bigs. You put in Burks, who's having a 6'6" guy who's having a terrible night. Instead of having somebody, that
was a mistake. That was a mistake.
But he's been a mistake.
I don't know if will ever agree to admit it, but I'm telling you, that was a mistake. It was a time to try to go small. The athleticism that Obi gives you, the extra rebounding, those long arms that he gives you, that might have really helped. He might have, like, what's great about him? He's always looking for that ball. He's always hunting for the ball. He might have gotten that ball, giving you that extra little 2 point. We lost by 2 points. Mm-hmm. All we needed was 1 bucket and a free throw to win this game. It was there. Yep. This loss hurts, man.
Yeah. Just quick shout out, Sergeant Robert, 2764. Hope all is well. I do believe Mark is a much better coach. Yeah, unfortunately, Mark Jackson will never coach in the NBA again, Sarge.
It doesn't look like it. No, he would have. He would have already by now. D Nice asks, "Don't really think." Oh, he actually has a statement. Don't really think we have seen Obi's full game.
I agree with you. Yeah, me too. Me too. But just meaning if you can get a point guard that'll change this team for the next 7 years, 5 to 7 years, and a smart. High character, everything that you want from a culture perspective. Obi's a lot easier to replace than getting a point guard.
The only thing is, I'm not sure if Brunson is that guy. Like,
I agree with you, but when you go down the list, you try to think of a young point guard that's available. Either the price is exorbitant, you got to clean out the cupboard, or they're still a project. This guy is not elite, but he's not a project, and he has high IQ and
he has that Fred VanVleet kind of vibe to him.
Exactly. Without the shooting.
Near the shooter.
Yeah, exactly. He's not the shooter, but he has that same. He's Villanova tough. That's what I love about him.
Yeah, he's Nova tough, but even defensively, he's not at Fred's
6'1". He's not my prototype.
How big is Fred? 6 feet?
No, he is 6. I know that, but he's an anomaly.
He's big and
he's not.
His nose for the ball.
He's short. He's not small.
Yeah.
But it was the same like Kyle Lowry. He's built. He's a tank. He may be short in stature, but short in height, but he's thick as hell. He's a beast. Pedro Cepedes said, "I bet if by trade deadline we don't do a young good, the Don will probably much tell Tibbs to run the young guys, and there'll be some turmoil, which will cause Tibbs to want to leave."
I wonder if that would even be
the
situation. I don't know. I mean,
well, thanks for your feedback.
Yeah. Because the dynamic between the front office and Tibbs, they seemed very joined together. They seem like it. Like Tibbs doesn't really do anything that's not within. It doesn't seem like Tibbs makes decisions that are not front office. Either they're going to be in favor of or pre-approved. That's what it feels like.
Hey, look at Obi as a perfect example. They picked him 8, and he's not doing the development. He's not treating him in a way that you think they'd. It looks like the front office covets him more than Tibbs, and so I see friction there.
Sergeant Robert has asked us, "Hello, guys. Who do you think would be a great coach for the Knicks? And will the Knicks trade for a PG like Jalen Brunson? And how about Miles Turner?"
Turner's off the list. If you watch the pregame today with that foot injury, I don't think anybody. It wouldn't be a prudent move at this time.
No,
especially with a history of having other foot injuries. So he's off the list. We just talked about Jalen Brunson. I thought Kenny Atkinson was going to be was a better candidate because of the youth and from a development standpoint than Tibbs.
We might have a guy who's better on the staff already,
and his name is
Johnny Bryant.
I'm just hesitant that, especially in New York, that you want a guy that or gal, but in this case, a guy that has actual head coaching. Whether that or as New York fans seeing the Jets and others bringing over a coordinator, assistant coach, it's not the same as running the whole kit and caboodle.
I know.
And so I think
I'm surprised you're against the Johnny Bryant idea.
Only because I don't see, he's supposed to be the point guard whisperer, and I still see IQ picking his dribble up.
JD and Keys are always, you're always pushing Johnny Bryant on me.
I don't know. Meaning, people heard me a few shows ago. I had a take that, you know what, both Kenny Payne, if Tibbs has had 5 or so post-game press conferences where he said the energy is not there, that's not only on Tibbs, it's on the assistant coaches, because the assistant coaches pay, you think they'd get in their ear.
I have a take on that.
All right,
I have a take on that, on the energy issue. Here's my take on it. I have a feeling that the reason the energy when the game starts is low is because the team, and Fournier spoke to this a while ago. I wish I could find that post game. They never know who's going to lead this team. Like there's no set identity. There's no like this is our what we're going to start with. This is our first play, our second play, our third play, our fourth play, our fifth play. They don't understand the structure. It's kind of loosey-goosey, but at the same time, they know that it has to run through Randall. So it's very loose. It's like it runs through Randall, but they also don't know what the plays are.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were going to say something different.
my point is that's why they come out. They're not fully committed to the execution of what's happening on the floor because they don't really understanding. They're not sure what they're supposed to do. Like if they decide, look, we're going to start every game off. We're going to get Fournier off for a shot in the corner. This is our plan A. Plan B is then we dump it off to Randall. He makes something happen, on the right side, the baseline or whatever. But I feel like it's just whoever's the point guard brings the ball up, and it's like, all right, let's see what the defense gives us.
Or what I thought you were going to say is why the energy is bad is that what I've seen so much is that the game starts, point guard comes up, throws it into Randall, and he played a lot. Let's say we'll say Fournier, a 2-man game between them, and 3 guys are standing around now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that takes away the energy.
Yeah, that takes away the energy. But it's not even always that. It's not even that every night, because I feel like if that was even the case every night, there might be some off-ball screening going on the weak side to create opportunities for if Randall sees like, oh, I don't see my shot, I'm going to look for my guy. At least the other guys are engaged. But no, it's like
But it drives me crazy because he does this dribble handoff. Randall get the ball, he'll do a dribble handoff. He turns his back. He throws it to Fournier. He gives it to Fournier, who takes only like 1 or 2 dribbles, and basically instead of completing the rotation and coming around, where he now could look at the whole floor and get the other 3 guys involved, he just stops there, and then it just is between those 2. And it's funny because I really think that this surge by Mitchell Robinson in the last week or a couple of weeks is because of RJ, and we saw Randall make a couple of things for the first time this year, getting Mitch involved. That's invigorating. Now he feels part of it. He's talked about, being part of the offense and everything else other than just putbacks. So guys were looking to help him that way with, lobs when they converge. RJ is very good at that, working with the pick and roll with him. But it's getting everyone up. That's why a point guard, the key is you want great energy, have everybody involved. If you're only going to play with 2 guys on the court, you can have 3 guys that are cranky.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it takes them to kind of like stumble around for whatever X minutes or possessions, trying to figure out who's hot. Oh, well, Randall hit his shot. Oh, so Randall's hot. So just give it to him. Like there's no set plan.
And Randall is a killer that way because he took a couple of shots tonight that you were like, why did you just take that? Was a bad shot. There was like 20 seconds left on the
terrible start. But he definitely corrected.
Made up for it.
He made up for it. He definitely made up for it. But yeah, it was a bad start for him.
But what we're talking about is just consistent execution and consistent, when you watch Golden State, you're like in awe because everyone's involved there. It's like a hockey pass. Everyone's getting touching it. And, what Tibbs has always, advocated is like, we want the best shot. It's not who has a good shot, the best shot. And sometimes you just feel some of the guys, like when they get the ball, it's like, you guys been hogging the damn ball. I'm going to put this ball up. Randall's been hogging the ball the whole game. I'm going to get this shot up. I don't care.
Yeah. And then the inverse is that their defensive like urgency is so connected to whatever's happening on the offensive end.
Unless you have Grimes and the kids in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not starting.
No. The whole thing with Grimes is that everyone loves is like every possession he has that intensity, and then you see guys like Randall and stuff like that where you're like, I watched the game yesterday's game today during this morning. I rewatched it, and the effort on Randall and also RJ. RJ played some terrible defense the last couple of days. I mean, terrible, where I'm stopping, rewinding, and I'm like, God, the closeouts in this game are terrible. And also effort getting around screens, literally giving up on the ball. And I'm like, or as Clyde would say, Matador defense.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it is, there's, I don't know if it's Thibs' scheme, like when someone's driving.
No, you touched on it already. It's energy. You have to want to play defense, and the energy has to be there.
Well, that's hurting. Acceptable, though. I don't.
I know, and you have to have a roster where losing hurts. It's not okay. Like, all right, we lost. What do you want to do later? I don't know. Let's go to this club. No, you have the wrong roster then.
You think maybe it's possible that the players and the team realize, all right, we're not going to get as far as we did last season. So we're not that team. So
I think there's different cliques on this team. I think that's the issue. I think you have old guys, young guys, and Randall. And Randall's is the teacher's pet, Tibbs boy. and then you have the young guys saying, "Hey, this should be RJ's team." And so you have loyalty. You have a couple guys. You have Mitch. You have different factions on this team, and that's not healthy.
Yeah. Honestly, I've been thinking, maybe we should just go and just give RJ the keys and let's roll with it and see what happens. Randall can still get his in an RJ,
and he does get his.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's just his ego of not being, not having the ball run through him.
Beautifully said.
But his stats are going to still be the same.
Yeah,
20, 10, 5. He's just not going to be dribbling, and we don't want you to dribble. As Wally says, if you dribble more than 2 times, Randall, a turnover is right around the corner.
It is totally.
It is
totally. And on those nights, like we saw in the second half, where Randall is cooking, you just feed him the ball then. But for that to be your A plan, for your A plan to be, let's see if Randall has it tonight, it just seems ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
If you give RJ the ball above the break, behind the 3-point line, give him a couple of screeners in the pistol, it's the pistol action, and he rolls, you have a good chance of something positive happening.
Not only that, with the pistol action, and especially with RJ, it's not just his thing. He can see, depending what happens, the screener can now get the ball back. You can do pick and rolls off the pistol. There's so many, it's a beautiful thing. One thing leads to the other thing, which leads to the other thing. And I'd like the ball. I think RJ is a better decision maker.
Much better.
Saw a couple of plays with Randall today where they converged and it was a turnover. It's like, God, we saw that coming.
Yeah. Tonight wasn't a good night in terms of that for RJ. He did have a lot of turnovers.
No, I know.
Tonight, but
and last night, 13 in the last 2 games.
yeah, he's had some a bad stretch, but generally he does make better decisions off of that pistol action, pick and roll, and like you said, he can add another pick right there, and everyone benefits because he's seeing the whole. I mean, well, he has shown the ability to see everybody on the court, where when Randall rolls or does his thing, it's literally just the guy in the corner, or whoever he just saw. Like he doesn't see the whole court.
Or he does, and he looks off open guys.
Or he forces it.
Yeah. But like we talked about, there was really inaccurate passes. IQ, RJ, Randall. Hey, Jay.
Randall did a pass to Grimes in the corner. That was like there was no way he was even going to catch. First of all, it wasn't anywhere near his pocket. He had to reach way out, and it was smoked at him, and he couldn't catch it. And then Randall was like,
"I know," because the class reaction is this. It was on me, man. Sorry about that.
No, but not.
No, it was like
not him.
And you're like, are you serious, Randall? Come on, man. That's why the fans and everybody else look at you like, you have all this talent. Why do you have to have that stupid punk attitude sometimes?
That's what drives us nuts the most.
Yeah. So, hey, Jay, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. JS. Thibs is an old school coach with an old school offense. There's no creativity, and it's not modern. Thoughts on the loss of Mike Woodson last year?
Great point, JS.
Yeah, that losing him definitely hurt us. Absolutely. Absolutely it did. You know what? Thibs, I mean, he's never been an offensive guy anyway. So it's not like we can say he's even old school offense. He's just never been. He's a defensive minded coach, and he is very good at motivating players. So there's those two things. Offensively, he's lacking. Absolutely, 100%. However, that being said, the offensive scheme that he's installed can work. The problem is that we see players deviate from it in a negative impact manner. For example, when Randall passes up a wide open 3 to dribble into traffic, because he's not confident with his 3-point shot, is completely caving in the offensive possession because it's not designed for him to drive into traffic and try to get make a difficult 2. It's designed to get a nice open 3. Now, lately he has been taking them, but we saw a stretch there, almost like a 20-game stretch where Randall was just not doing it. And any player in this offense that doesn't take, and IQ is a victim of it, or he's guilty of it as well, passing up open looks. You can't do it in this scheme. The problem is that when you miss a wide open shot, you look like an idiot, and players don't want to look like idiots. So then they pass up on that and try to create when they're not really creators. So that's the problem that we have. We don't have dynamic, creative players who can, look off the play and try to create something new. We do. Derrick Rose is a guy who can do it. And that's why he's
the only guy. And also with like zones, you have to break, you have to have somebody that can drive, break it down, and kick it out. We don't have anybody who can do that. With D Rose not here. So, JD said something real deep early this year, getting back to the offense, the question by JS. And he says, if you look at the great players, they get the ball in their spot for them to do their magic. Randall gets the ball 15 feet from his spot and got to dribble to his spot. And that kills this offense. That kills his efficiency. We need somebody to get the ball. He should never dribble the damn ball up again. He should be running down as fast as he can, getting into his spot, using that great bod that you throw the ball into him, and he doesn't have to do anything other than, like Wally said, a dribble or 2 at most, and then puts up the shot or a pass. Him dribbling kills this offense, and it kills, people have heard me use this term, he's a rhythm vampire. It kills everybody.
Yeah. Like, for example, unfortunately, I don't have any actual real examples. We're just going to use these numbers as an example. So Randall, he took 4 3-pointers. He missed all 4. Let's just say, don't look at this game specifically, but let's say in general in the history of this season, he's passed up an additional 4 open looks that he had. Look at his efficiency in general. So it means he's 6 of 11 from the 2-point. Actually, that's pretty good. 6 of 11 for him normally. He hasn't been that efficient in the 2-point, in the mid-range and at the basket. So he hasn't even been that efficient. But in general,
over 50%, yeah.
Yeah. But he ended up with 3 turnovers, and when he does that, it ends up in what we're calling a non-turnover turnover, which is a shot clock beater by whoever ended up getting the ball thrown at them, at 200 miles an hour, flaming hot from Randall. They catch it. And tonight it was Fournier, and he actually made his shots, but those weren't easy. Sometimes it's RJ in the corner and he just has to heave it up, or Burks often, or he makes some attempt at Mitch. Actually, he's had a nice little chemistry with Mitch lately, but in general, it's just not the wisest move to pass up those open threes.
And it's not endearing to your teammates, because people will say, boy, they had an off shooting night. And they're saying to yourself, I got the ball with 5 seconds to go on the shot clock and I had to make a shot.
And that's a lot. Sometimes it's even less.
And sometimes it's a lot less. So those are the things where they're saying, hey, man, I shot like shit tonight, but it wasn't fair because I wasn't getting the ball and also I was getting the ball here. Like we were saying, I wasn't getting it here. So in one motion,
Foxy, that is so important. That cannot be understated, guys. When you get the ball thrown at you over here, it's a world of difference. It's a world of difference when it's anywhere within the box of your shoulders. Here. Exactly. It's so much different than over here, or down here, or up here. It's the difference between getting a good look off and not, or committing a turnover.
But also with elite athletes, it's like a safety that has recovery. In an NBA, they have unbelievably recovery speed. So by the time they take that ball from here and they get it here, now that defensive guy's there.
Exactly. And then they're like, oh, and then it's not the open.
Exactly, it's not the same shot anymore. And again, that doesn't show up in the box score. But boy, that leaves a mark in the players. The players don't forget it.
Yeah, either should the coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hey everyone. We have 56 people in the chat and we have 43 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Hey, I love my friend George. He's right by that 4,000 subscriber milestone. He's a blink away. So do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have subscribed, please tell your friends. Fantastic content, and and also fantastic dedication. He really cares about bringing you the highest quality, from a journalistic standpoint, from the content standpoint. So please reward this guy for all his efforts. So let's get him over the 4K this year. Not this year, in the next month or so. Let's make it way before this year.
I appreciate that, Foxy. I appreciate that.
But also, please hit the reminder bell so you don't miss out on any of the wonderful content from George into the Knicks-Verse, and also share the link on your favorite social media platforms. And also, if you while you're at it, if you haven't subscribed to Sports Vibe TV, please do me a favor. Absolutely. Please subscribe. It's a guaranteed good time. I promise you.
Hey, the good times are over for the Knicks and the schedule.
Yeah, that's why the serious shit's coming now. We play the Pelicans
next, so that's should be an easy game. We're playing the Pelicans at home. We should win that game. I don't know how many times we've used the word should, and we don't, but yes, we should. But then after that, we have the Clippers, even though they're without PG and Kawhi, they're still dangerous now, but they were playing them at home, so that's good. It's a matinee game on Sunday.
Yep.
And then we have a back-to-back. We play the Cavs in Cleveland. Cavs are deadly. And then we go to Miami. Miami is deadly. And then we go to Milwaukee. Look at that, the way we're
defending champions.
Defending champions, which we do match up well with them because I like Randall does step up in those games historically against the Bucks. And then we play the Kings at home. So we end this month. We have 6 games left in January. To 100%. Yeah, make sure. We're 1 game under 500. 1, 2, 3. Honestly, if we go 3-3 in these next 6 games, I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied. Yeah. So we'll still be a game under 500. But it's possible we go 1-5.
Who hasn't been on the COVID, been out to COVID? Mitch, Fournier, and no, Mitch has. I think it's Fournier
Mitch has,
and Kemba.
But it was quick. Fournier hasn't, surprisingly.
Yeah, because just statistically, I'm saying who's left. Although
Kemba hasn't had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if you were a free agent signee, you didn't get COVID for the Knicks. But yeah, look, we have 6 games left in January. They're all tough. I think we should win the Kings game. It's at home, and we should win the Pelicans. So let's say at worst we go 2-4. This is why these last 2 games were so important. Why last night's game pisses me off so much. Tonight's game, not as much so, but it's still
fighting the Charlotte for this. We're fighting to get in, and
Charlotte. We should have beaten Charlotte, man.
Yeah.
Duke's Rock says he's not sold on Cavs. Knicks can win. I'm with you, man. I hope Knicks can win, but the Cavs are for real.
Yeah, Garland again tonight was spectacular. He had 18 assists the other night. Mobley is going to be a franchise player for the next 15 freaking years.
And then they have all those other guys. Okoro's
a absolutely.
Yeah, they're a beast. Tough team. They're not going to be easy, but I do think we can beat them. Honestly, of the next 6, I mean, other than let's put it this way. If each team plays their best with the players that they have on their roster, the Knicks could win 4 out of the next 6 games. So it's not like our talent is so far below. It's not. It's just who shows up that night.
Yeah, but also I was doing this with my pal D that D is ballin'. D is poetic. You may know him. He's a co-host now in the morning drive with Freezy. So if you haven't subscribed, please support him. He's fantastic. So we're going over, and we noticed, and I'm bringing this up only because we're playing Cleveland, that RJ's aggressiveness in his drives, against Dallas and other teams that don't have rim protectors, he eats. But when you saw what happened when he went against a Robert Williams, a guy with bounce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
he's special, though. Robin Williams is special in terms
absolutely,
of his bounce.
Absolutely, and his length.
He's kind of like Mitch.
He has crazy length.
He's what Mitch was last year before the injury.
Well said. Well said. But so we have to take an advance now when we look ahead at teams that RJ is going to be going against Mobley and Jared Allen in that paint. So this is where, from a strategy standpoint, where he's saying, you know what, this is a game for me to do my mid-range. Rather than me taking that extra dribble, because I'll be in no man land with those dudes. So I got to go midi. I can't go to the hole the way I can against other teams. And each game he has to adapt. That's what the NBA is about. You can't keep getting to. He's had a shot blocked 46 times so far this season. He had it blocked 86 times last season. So he's on that trajectory again. And that's where you're hoping third season you become a little more savvy and like, I can't do that against Robert. I can't go against certain guys. I don't have the lift.
Right. Right. Exactly. Cleveland's not the team that you're going to.
No, and contrary to belief, but Randall is a below the rim finisher. Also, he's lightning for a guy his size. North south, but he's not a vertical player.
No, he's not. He's not. So these next 6 opponents, RJ should. I mean, other than the Bucks and the Cavs, RJ should do well.
Well, I think RJ should do well every game now. That's what we're expecting of him.
Just his regular game. If he makes adjustments, he could do well against the Cavs and the Bucks.
Because at this point, a bad game for RJ going forward, I want is a 14-point game. But a normal game is 18 points, 16 to 18 points, and a great game is 20 points and up. And hopefully next year, like we said, foul shooting, get that foul shooting up from 70%, finish one more thing, and he's a 20-point scorer. So that's the development we're taking a step back that we want to see with him. Dude, but no more single-digit games. And those turnovers, come on, kid. 13 and 2 games. That's not the development we want to see. We want you seeing the floor in a different way. Especially if you're going to be the primary. If we're saying we're going to run the offense for you, can't throw balls right into Anthony Edwards' hands in crunch time.
Yeah. Now, I didn't get to watch any of the post-game interviews or anything, but the cool thing about RJ historically, I haven't watched it, but I don't even know if he gave one. But he'll say, at least he'll be like, yeah, I need to make adjustments in the game. I need to do this, need to do that. He'll point it out, which is encouraging, unlike some other players.
Yeah. Hey, accountability is, you have to be, if you're not going to take the accountability, you can't grow, and like we said, I love a player where it bothers him that, man, that bothers me that I played subpar like that. That's the kind of guy you want on their roster.
Pedro, Thibs will never get COVID.
He's
it requires interaction with other people.
Oh, baboom! Where the hell is that roadcaster?
It's just whoever.
He's married to basketball.
Tested, yeah.
He's never been married. He's married to basketball.
He's married to basketball, exactly.
Although I heard he's dating Dice.
He's dating Dice.
Yamamoto.
maybe a cute couple.
Well, he's been with him in Minnesota. He's been with him as his assistant all these years.
Look at this. We scored 40 points in the third quarter. And
exactly.
lost this game.
Only because what we score in the fourth, we got outscored
19.
Exactly. So it's like, come on, you're tearing at our heart. You come out strong from the third quarter. It's like, carry that off in the fourth quarter. You're on your home court. Let your fans go home happy, and then you do that. In the fourth quarter to us. Come on.
It was brutal. All right, guys, I think we're going to wind it down. We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. This was great. I'm so glad you guys all joined us. I didn't feel like doing a recorded. I wanted to have the back and forth thing, have an actual discussion, and this was great. The chat's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Fantastic. Be Civilized, Kep Steezy, K Sings, Knicks 100 AGM.
It's actually Knicks 100 a game, and he told me that
100 a game. Okay.
Because he told me the story that he used to go to a barbershop and play Y2 the 2K the video game,
NBA 2K, yeah.
And he always played the Knicks. So every game, he he bet 100 a game, and when he do that, so it's Knicks 100 a game.
Absolutely. This is an interesting comment that he made. Cavs are the future of the NBA, of the new NBA. Cavs will be the blueprint. I don't know about the blueprint. It's hard. I mean, there aren't that many Mobleys and Jared Allens out there. They're very unique,
but even more Mobleys, because Jared Allen is a classic 5, but Mobley is a freak.
Mobley makes Allen more special.
Yeah.
It
makes Garland more special.
Yeah.
And also the subtraction of Colin Sexton made
Garland. I said it in all those
Garland made
draft
special.
I said Mobley may end up being the best player of this draft.
Yeah, 7'4" wingspan, 44-inch vertical, touch, can pass either hand, fantastic on defense.
But he has the skills, but it's this.
Yeah.
It's this right here, man. It's fantastic.
Hey, did you hear my sleeper I said on the show? That my sleeper second round pick for a stretch 5 this year. And again, it's early. Things will change. But in my initial analysis, my sleeper is Isaiah Mobley, Evan's brother.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's good.
Yeah, USC. You see him. You know him out there.
He has a nice mid-range touch.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and he can hit the 3.
He does.
He can hit it.
Nice step back. You've seen
he's almost everything Evan is, just whatever, 15% less. 15%, whatever you want to.
But that's why I said second round.
Yeah.
So I think
for all we know, because big men aren't prized that much. 15 years ago he might have been a late first.
Yeah. So that's one of the things, and God knows we use it. And with this team, I don't know if we'll ever give Luka Shemanek a shot for us to at least see him play.
Yeah, let's see the dude.
Thank you.
Come on.
But he's married to Taj.
And I love Taj. Taj gave us some good minutes tonight.
6 stupid fouls.
Yeah.
What bothers me, I see Taj as a future coach. He makes 2 moving screen fouls, stupid plays every game. So it's like, how can he be a great coach when you make so many dumb fouls a freaking game? Every game.
But you know what? A lot of that too is like, when you're getting older, you think your body's able to do X, Y, Z. That's not, your
brain's saying go left, but your body's not.
Exactly. So it could be a bit of that.
Word.
I have a theory. I have a feeling that we are in for a major shakeup by the trade deadline. Just putting it out
Dolan can't be too happy, man.
I am telling you right now.
Dolan can't be happy.
No. So something is coming. Something big. It may not be what we expect. It may be something we haven't even heard of. In fact, most likely it'll be something we have not heard of. I was surprised the Cam thing actually happened because we had heard about it. And you and I nailed the exact trade.
I know, man.
We said Knox, the Charlotte pick. And it's what happened. I don't feel confident about making any other claims like that at the moment. Personally, I don't know if you do, but I do feel like something big is going to happen because it's easy to see when you look at this team that it's a middling team. We're just in the middle, but we do have some interesting pieces, and if possibly we were able to add and subtract the right pieces by February 10th, this team could recorrect very quickly.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. But here's the other thing. If no trade happens, I'm also cool with that. as long as there's a plan in the offseason. Unfortunately, we don't know because we don't hear anything from Leon.
We're hoping that the reality with whether it's Washington, hopefully Atlanta won't, they'll still for the rest of the season be in a funk. Indiana, that those teams that we can, get that play in because there's just we saw Charlotte that was without LaMelo and stuff. There's a lot of good teams in this East, folks, for them to try to, so at this point, if we keep playing like this, it's either playing or getting that last playoff spot. Forget about the 4 spot this year.
Yeah. At this point, it doesn't make sense to think about that. But the playoffs are still possible.
Absolutely. But the point you just made was fantastic, that we can make a couple of tweaks to put our, an execution. It's all about having a team that executes to a plan. And but they have to have the plan to execute against. So if you don't have an offensive plan, like you said, whether it's a Super Bowl, it's like, we have the first 15 plays scripted, and but if you're like, here's the first play and everything after it's read and react. Yeah, well, exactly. They read, but they're not reacting.
Exactly. And I said it the other day, and I do think, don't be surprised if Julius Randle gets moved.
February 3rd is the first day we can move him, folks.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
So that's only a few weeks away. So it's a blink over 3 weeks. So we're all, biting our nails, saying what's going to happen here. Because, like George said, maybe we're just a piece or two. Let RJ become the face. Support him. Like we said, hey, Zach LaVine. We want to support you. We got Lonzo, we got DeRozan, we got Caruso. We've traded for Vucevic. We need the same thing. Yo, Chris, hope all is well.
What's up, Chris Lopez?
He's cool, man.
Yeah, man. The refs blew it, but the Knicks are still missing foul shots and losing games. They had it, they lost it. They need to be grittier in crunch time. Tough loss. Absolutely.
Well 100%,
said. 100% on all that.
Yeah.
100% on all that.
Perfect take, man. Perfect
for
take.
Sure. And I'll build on that word grittier. It's hungry. Like where was that? I mean,
DAWG.
As a competitor, where I am not losing this fucking game.
I'm a dog.
Figure
man.
out a way how to,
especially in my house.
Yeah, and we didn't see it. We didn't see it today. Well, they were trying. And then the refs did get in the way. But at the same time, you got to hit your free throws, man.
Yeah,
got to hit your free throws.
Hey, Ricky Lawrence says, "What could we get for Randall? Maybe some Valium."
What we need or what we can get? That's a big question. I mean, that's a big question. I'll pull out some videos about it. We'll talk about it in other videos. But there's definitely Randall has a lot of value. He has a lot of value. He just needs to be in the right situation. And there's teams that could use him. So it'll be interesting.
He may be better off in a smaller market where there's only 5 reporters rather than 50.
Hey, you know what? Look, if I were the GM of this team right now at this moment, and there was if I had any conversations at all with the Pelicans, now this is me. I know you're not on board with this, but I'm willing to take this gamble.
Don't say the Z word.
I would trade Randall for Zion any day, at any moment. I would do it because I'll tell you the reason why. I instantly have a chance of eventually winning a championship led by Zion. I will never be able to win led by Randall. Now, Zion would have to lose weight and all that other jazz and get healthy. But
he's so one-dimensional, though. He's unstoppable in the paint, but he can't shoot outside the paint.
No, that's not even true. He can shoot. He can shoot. He just doesn't have to. He just plows right through people. I mean, look at his numbers from when he was healthy. It was crazy.
I just said he's unstoppable.
Yeah,
he literally is unstoppable.
Literally unstoppable. So you put him with a couple of good shooters around him, that he trusts.
I just think DNA. I just think DNA wise, as he matures his frame, I don't ever see him being less than 280.
That's the thing. That's the risk, but that's the only way we could get him. Because if he didn't have that, if that wasn't an issue, there's no chance.
Yeah, but I'd say, you know what? That's a nice thing, but I'd rather trade him for Ingram. If I'm going to get somebody from New Orleans,
I just don't see Ingram bringing you a chip.
I don't see Zion lasting 5 years with from a medical perspective.
If in year 4 he gets us a chip before that 5th year, I'm cool with that. I'm just saying, there's a possibility that that actually may even come into play.
Well, I don't think it can come into play because of monies.
Yeah. Well,
he's making rookie money versus a guy that's making like 20 million.
Yeah, we'd have to take in
Eric Gordon or something. Not Eric Gordon. Is it who do they have over there? Is it Bledsoe or one of the
Bledsoe?
Yeah, somebody that has a big
have to swallow
salary.
something for sure.
Yeah,
we'd have to swallow something. But unfortunately, sometimes when you make huge moves like this, you do have to, you have to get wounded a little bit. But that's just one idea, but there's other ideas. There's definitely other things that can be done. I mean, some people are even, we went through the Fox for Randall situation.
I'm not a Fox fan personally.
Yeah. So there's a lot of mixed feelings on Fox. I'm cool with it, but I see the logic of resisting as well. So it's like I'm not gonna die on that sword.
Yeah,
but I
will
die on the Zion sword. I'm telling you, that guy, I think what's happening is he's just depressed in New Orleans. He's just
why? It's such great food there.
Well, I don't know. There must be something, because a lot of people look at AD. He wasn't happy there. A lot of people have not been happy with JJ Redick. Did not like it there. Yeah. So something's going on. I'm not sure what it is, but either way, I feel like he is trying to eat his way to the Big Apple. And once he's here, I could easily see him, snap into it, get into shape, do everything possible to play. But will his body hold up? I don't know.
But in shape is 280 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the largest NBA player he's the largest player in the NBA.
But also he's a high flyer, and it's a violent act. The muscles and the tendons.
That is the guard.
But I know that, but every time he does those violent jams, he's coming down on those ankles, those knees, those hips.
But with today's medicine, you think they'd be able to find a good middle ground. Be like, hey, yo, let's get you down to 255.
I don't think he can, man. Not even Jenny Craig could get him. I think his body, he's just a thick dude. That 280 is light, and when the game's over, he's going to be a 350 dude.
Yeah, that's the risk with him. That is the risk with him. For sure.
But just meaning, I'm just such a student of history. I've never seen anybody with
he's a freak.
Exactly, his aerial game.
He's a special.
He is, but how many? I've never seen a guy that's an aerial type of player at 280 that had a long career or even had a career.
We don't need it to be long. We need it to be 5 years. That's all we need.
You're the coolest.
We win a couple of rings. He retires. He get he eats so much he becomes a balloon. He just float him down the Thanksgiving Day parade. We'll love Zion forever. He brings us the chip.
Yeah, he have the chip in his mouth.
He'll think the chip is chips. He'll be like, hey, whatever.
Hey, it's the chip challenge.
The chip challenge. All right, man. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, Foxy.
I love hanging with you,
in the
my brother.
Chat. It's been wonderful. You guys, your questions have been awesome. The energy's been great. It's a tough loss. It sucks. Air Pegasus, Larry Johnson. Yes, Larry Johnson-esque. Well, he's 10 times more ferocious than Larry Johnson ever was.
Yeah.
Zion. Larry had better. Maybe his skills were a little more refined.
He was much smaller.
He was smaller, so made it easier, but very similar type of game. But he adjusted his game later on.
He did because of back issues and stuff like that. But when he came out
of
exactly when he came out of UNLV, the difference between him is that he won a national championship. Mm-hmm. You were thinking that Zion, RJ, and Cam, with that talent pool, plus Trey Jones and a few others, they couldn't win it in college. So why the hell are they going to win it together in the pros?
Well, I have specific reasons why that, but they should have pulled it out for sure. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. The pregame show actually will be on Into the Knicks-Verse on Thursday, because today was on Sports Vibes TV. Tune in. Hopefully we'll get back on track. Like I said, we have 6 games coming up. They're not easy. They're not easy at all. Except for the next one. The next one actually is. It's the Pelicans. Then we have the Clippers, Cavs, Heat, Bucks, and then Kings. So of the next 6, the first one and the last one are the easies. Those 4 in the middle are the tough ones. If we can eke out one of those 4 in the middle, we'll be 500 in this next 6-game stretch. Maybe we'll get on a roll. Maybe this game will wake them up. Maybe this game will piss them off, the players, as much as it's pissed us off, and we can go 4-2.
Every game is a game closer to getting D Rose back.
And then there's that. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate it so much. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Subscribe to Into the Knicks-Verse and to Sports Vibes TV, and hit the thumbs ups and drop your comments. If you guys have any other thoughts or whatever that we've been talking about later on, just drop them in the comment section. I read them all, and I appreciate them tremendously. And we will see you around the Knicks-Verse.